I specialize mainly in athletics. Actually, I specialize only in athletics. Been doing this job since 1992. I came in when basically Doug started his system. And it's been a wild ride, but let me get set up real quick. I didn't know they had a computer here for slides on my own. But yeah, we started in 1992, working at a local high school in Hanover, New Hampshire, and Doug was based in Woburn, Mass. And my dad met him at one point and saw what Doug was demonstrating was the early FinishLynx, and immediately kind of cornered him. And I think we gave him a deposit at the time for it. It was probably March of '92, maybe January of '92, and the product didn't exist at the time, I don't think. The time we started was FinishLynx digital photo finish, other than what I saw, like the '91 World Championships in Tokyo, which was film-based, but they did some cool digital stuff at the time. Lynx was the digital system, and I had just gotten out of college, and it was what I immediately fell in love with. Started that immediately. I think in the first year we did I did a high school meet with Doug, state high school meet in Louisiana, kind of learned the ropes, and he gave me I guess it was the Alpha box, with all the wires sticking on the side of the case. And I started doing meets, and kept hammering away at high school meets. And the next year we were doing the US Championships, Bill Rose Games. As we continued on, there's my stuff we've done. We've done every NCAA collegiate championship since '95, all the US championships we do, mainly domestic, mainly collegiate is our background. We do the Diamond League, Prefontaine, and we're all set up for University of Oregon. Constantly, as Doug comes out or Lynx comes out with new products, we started using React Time early, in 2000. LaserLynx soon followed. FieldLynx, I think we started with '98, and we kept building that into our arsenal as things got more and more complex. So what I'm going to talk today about is basically, it's kind of my theory on how to set up athletics, especially maybe for a championship or a federation level event, so more of the complex, more demanding events. But the principles will apply to about any athletics event you do. It's mainly trying to get, as we add all this field events and field links and reaction time, the complexity level gets harder and harder. So you want to defend yourself and defend your customer, making it safe and making sure they don't get overwhelmed if a problem arises, if it starts raining. It's the part of my job I enjoy the most. I'm the technical director for our company, so doing the setup and doing the network design and trying to look before it happens where problems might arise is kind of a passion of mine. The basic, most important thing you do is the actual Lynx network, which is your timing computer and your timing cameras. And the positioning of those, as Doug was going on with how important it is to actually get a readable, clear photo finish image. The setup we normally do, actually all the events we do a full day setup beforehand. And I would suggest everyone try to, as you're doing a major championship, to get set up, plenty of time to find any problems, to do a full test. As you get a little higher level events, there's IAAF, which I'm going to go over later on, considerations. You have to make sure your camera alignment's right, all the control tests. You might want to even practice some of the control tests and some of the IAAF requirements before you actually have to do it in front of a photo finish judge. You can see here that's one of the more difficult shots. This is in Portland, where they had the World Championships indoors. This was done, I think, in an event like this is US Championships, we set up 2 days before and do a full test of everything 2 days before. And so the day before, when athletes are on site, we're basically done. We don't have to move any of our equipment. Some of the stuff to stress on your camera alignment. This is why I think the new Vision is so great, is the electronic level and getting your cameras. As you can see how difficult it is. We have this camera, which is, I don't know how far from the common finish, and then another camera on the outside, and getting those aligned, as Paul was going on earlier today, getting those aligned perfectly on a plane across distance, and then getting that plane to match vertically as you align your camera is practically impossible to do without a lot of work, walkie-talkies, and with the new electronic level, which I'm going to show you here in a second, it works really easy to do. This is a good example of the first time I used the Vision camera. Hugh brought it, was like the beta at the time. This is the 2000, what Fred was just talking about. It was the 2015 Pan Am Games in Toronto. And Hugh LaCroix brought it. And just basically to see it was not fully released. He said it works really good, there's no problems. And we decided to use it as the primary inside camera. Use the electronic level to actually help us align the outside, the L300 on the outside. And you see here, that's just an absolute dead-on alignment the first time we ever even used the camera, and it was fantastic.
Roger, there's a slide clicker too if you want to use that.
Well, the problem is it's taken on my screen, so I can't show it. So it's no problem. I can go without the Lynx demonstration. I was going to quickly show where the actual level settings are on the lens. We can just read the breakout sessions. If there's any FinishLynx questions about that kind of stuff, I can show how that works. FinishLynx and networking. This is actually why I probably have no hair. I'm going to get the whiteboard actually. I think this is the biggest problem everyone has. You know, that Lynx customer support probably gets the most questions about everyone. And as we get all this complexity, adding field mix, adding all this stuff, you start kind of making things very complex to fix, almost impossible to fix. So you're selling a major system to a large arena, or you're installing in a large arena. They already have some sort of network set for you, which you don't know where it starts from, you don't know where it goes. It may go to some switches down in the basement somewhere, break out in fiber somewhere else. And it's just, yeah, it's undoable. So what we do, and I will run my own cable no matter where I go. You start with the Lynx network. So, press box. That's the operations, and our camera. So very simple, that's all it is. So as you add things, this will then go to data. Still simple. you have basically a timing computer, a camera, database computer. Then it gets like this. Feel this. And that goes. And before you know it, you'll have 100 items on your network. So what we've started to do, and I highly recommend doing it, is we had a backup system that's separate. No connection between this and this. Timing computer, we eliminate that and use a second network connection between these two computers. So the timing system has two network cards, one going directly to the camera and one going to the data to the outside world. We go to the field events, that's a direct shot to the data network. And then for all the rest of this stuff, it's a second network card off the data computer. So at all times, whatever happens in these outside satellite areas, it won't affect what's happening in this crucial area. And sometimes it gets more complex. United States, we have to add multiple cameras for all the wind reverses. So we'll run up to 6 cameras on one system. So the more complex it gets, you really want to simplify and be able to problem shoot your system as quickly as possible. That was one of the first things I learned from Doug, doing these setups, was learning how to work back and actually find out your potential problems. And here's a good example of what happens. This was at the NCAA Championships 2 weeks ago, and our equipment is in the tubable boxes. The rest of the stuff is what television threw on top of it. And it's behind the main finish line clocks. And you can see trying to go in there and fix a problem would be really difficult. So that's kind of why we compartmentalize our networks and try to make things as safe as possible. There's no way to avoid it. It's going to happen at a major championship. It's just a matter of learning how to get around it. In-route splits. Bruno was talking about this earlier. They're using a transponder system. You can't get on Lynx actually right now to show you, but I can show you later on in the breakout sessions. We do image splits. We actually will split each lap of the race using the Lynx camera. And there's actually a keystroke, which is shift enter, which will actually act like a lap time device and split the event right to Lynx. And then we output it to like CIS systems or television or the web. These are the example of our web results from that same meet. So it's a lot simpler than setting up an entire RF chip system. Or, there's not the whole system of trying to give the clerking area, giving chips out, but it's a lot more work. And you have to basically read an indoor 5,000 meters with 20 competitors, 24 competitors. That adds up to be, 25 laps times 20 people. That's, quite a few reads. But we're getting pretty efficient at it. And you can see we have the in-route splits. This is the men's mile. Another thing we do is live results. And all the live results we do, and all of our web-based stuff and all of our CIS system, we use basically just the Lynx interchange files, LIF files, the LFF files from field events. We don't do anything special. There's no outside database working. We parse the LIF file, stack them, go together, sort them, and produce HTML. So all of that's just done directly from the Lynx interface, from Lynx files. We're not using any separate data management software or anything with it. So it's pretty cool. We try to keep third parties out as much as possible. Not that we don't trust third party stuff, but what happens is if you're relying on a third party to do your database work or to do your web stuff, and they don't deliver, or their servers are down, or whatever, you're screwed. So, pretty happy with the, here's our vertical pole vault from that same event. Once again, all this is done live, so when somebody makes a bar and misses, it automatically goes up to the internet, and it comes directly from FinishLynx. Another thing I want to touch on is IAAF photo finish guidelines, which is, they finally made it very clear. This is actually maybe it was 2015. It's, they cleared it up a lot and made it a lot easier to follow. It's what's used for, we do it for every single event, no matter what level, because we have, in the United States, we have so many international competitors at all our indoor meets. We get national records quite often. So the guidelines are basically set by a photo finish judge. Will have regulations for you to set up with your camera. Once again, they'll go over your camera setup at angles and alignment. Lighting concerns. This is why beforehand we always do a full lighting test. If you're setting up at a new stadium, we like to see how the stadium lighting is working. Control test on all starts and all lanes. This is the location, actually, on the IAAF website. You can download it. It's a PDF. I'll give you a link later on tonight, too. Right at the bottom is the IAAF. It's on the random main website, official documents, technical, and it's right there at the bottom. And there's the classic control test. This was at Prefontaine last year. And all that, that's the only event in the United States where we actually do have the whole IAAF photo finish judges and all that. So it was quite an experience. They also do a very good job of defining a torso, which is in the book. Never was clearly defined before. In 2015, it never was very clear on exactly where on your shoulders the torso was defined. But now they have an actual definition, so there's really no gray area on where on your shoulder now is the definition of the torso. So pretty clear. Obviously in cycling and horse racing it's much easier, but still in athletics it's pretty difficult. And this year we had actually, amazingly, 3 world records within a week and a half. Usually you get one every maybe 4 years. So that was quite a bit. We had the, and these are all Lynx times with reaction times. This one got ratified yesterday, the men's 60 meters. It was in Albuquerque. And 2 of them at the collegiate championships. This is men's 400 meters and the men's 4x400 meters. Actually, interestingly enough, the 3 flat 77 wasn't the world record. That was the winning time, but the second place team that had all Americans was the world record. And like I said, I was going to show some stuff with my computer, but I couldn't get the stuff on the screen. So what we'll do is later on today I'll show that. I also have some tricks on some of the secret settings in Lynx that can be useful, like page masking to Result TV and some photo finish stuff. So I think that's about it. Do you have any questions about athletics? Yes?
Can you talk about how you're sending those live results up to the internet and logistically how that works?
Sure. We just use a, hold this right now. Let me try real quick. Oh. There. No. No. There we go. We use, they use FileZilla. We use an FTP program. The software we use creates all the, I don't know the website right now, but
This is why you have to set up the night before. So
yes, I can find everything. Actually, here's my love. Here's the actual. But we use FTP's website. Our software creates a very simple HTML file. And those are updated each time Lynx file is sent to the server. And every time it's sent, we crunch it and upload it to the website.
Nice.
And it's not, like I said, it's not very hard. We're not doing anything that's like a complex system. It just takes, I mean, you could probably pull it off with Excel. It's not overly difficult. Lynx does all the heavy lifting creating those files. This is a matter of parsing them, sorting them, and sending them. So it's not very difficult.
So this is your own management.
It's not meat management. We still use high tech or Meat Pro. There's meat management software. But we wanted to separate ourselves from that. And so in essence, you remove that type of web updates. And we create our own that's actually a result system. It all does is results. It doesn't do seeding or anything else. Yeah. Yes?
Well, when you're doing the separate networks, when you're doing separate networks, two network cards on the computer, are you shutting down one network and you're moving the cameras?
No, actually it won't, as long as you don't have, like, primary and backup we keep separate.
Yeah.
So we don't, those two systems are totally separate. But with the two networks, for example, 192.168.0 network would be timing.
Yep.
Then the database network would be 192.168.1 something. So unless you have a camera on that network, you're not going to boot anything. And you just run it normally. You just have all your networks up. Don't do a problem.
I don't have issues trying to do the cameras.
No, we have not at all. We're using Windows 10 Pro, and
We've been having a lot of trouble. We've got to shut down one of the networks before we
there's some with DHCP that causes some trouble. I think Lynx gets confused sometimes if it's a DHCP network, but if it's a fixed network, I haven't had.
One our second network would be, say, the venue network.
Yeah, that might be a DHCP. There might be something on there that gets a little bit lost. But we have not had that problem. But once again, we try to keep DHCP of stuff off as much as possible. Just the data computer will have a separate network to the internet. So actually, we've run up to 3 networks on the database computer. So, any other questions? Oh, yes.
I have comments on the torso.
Yes.
Actually, IAAF published in 2008 a paper regulation for international officials where they can put inside several pages with torso identification, this picture, this every position how human can move through the finish line and separate on man and he.
I understand. I just use the photo finish guidelines, yeah.
Already set by IAAF, but it's not published.
Yes, it should be published.
It's only
Yeah.
appears in a paper for official international.
Because I've heard lots of people read different
But
things.
I have
Oh,
the book, and if you like, I can share it
Oh,
with you.
for sure. Because we always see, like, for example, when you have those,
Already. Yes.
and they're
it's
trying to
like
figure
like
out
this.
here is extremely difficult. Very, very hard. Anything else? Great. All right. Thank you very much.
For those of you who are into history, I just wanted to make it clear that there's a very high probability that none of us are here in this room today, and that if it wasn't for Roger and his father. They basically believed in this product way before anybody else did. And I actually I was inspired by Roger to find this next thing, which I'm going to display if I can figure out how to get back there. Darn, I didn't bring my glasses out. What? They're on my head. Thank you. Good thing someone's paying attention. this is the check signed by Tom Jennings. This is the first check ever from Lynx. Have you ever seen that, Raj? Yeah. And then while I was taking that trip down memory lane, I found this too. This is the this is the original thing that I wrote up on what we were trying to do, and I don't know how well you can see that either, but this is my original idea on what I called at the time. I don't know. You don't know if you have had AccuTracks in the old days, but the AccuTrack was the film-based photo finish system in the U.S. It was what everybody used. So I originally called it the digital AccuTrack. And you like my little stick figures down there? Anyway, I thought you might find that amusing. Sorry, Matt, I didn't want to.
No, you're good.